Hello, welcome everyone. I'm very, very glad you're here. I know this is a different time for me to go live, but honestly, I love going live with a guest, and today's guest is a teacher. So she had to wait until her school day was over to be able to join us. So that's why we're doing this 4 p.m. time frame. Anything after this, I'm just way too tired. So I'm hoping you can all hear me okay. Today I have a friend joining me. She's been with me before, but she's one of my favorite people to chat with, and her name is Jen, and she is one of the co-founders of Altenew. So let's go ahead and bring Jen in, Mike. There she is.
Hey everybody. Hi Jennifer.
I'm so glad you're here, and I need hair like yours.
You
I'm
can do
so
it.
boring.
You should totally do it.
I'm going for the white thing. I don't know.
I've got some of those too. I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but they're in there. Yeah.
They just start to it's faster and faster.
They
So
sprout up.
can you guys let me know if our sounds are the same or if we need to bump somebody up? Let me know in the comments.
Yeah, I'm
So
seeing
Jen,
Diane says hear you great. So hopefully
okay,
that's
good,
all right.
good. So Jen, tell them about your two jobs.
Sure. So I am very fortunate that I have two jobs that I love very much. You know, they always say find something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And I feel like I'm living that twice. So I first and foremost I feel like an educator. So in crafting, I like to teach, I like to do workshops. I like to show people things I've learned. I like to share my mistakes with people so that they can learn from those and apply them to their crafting. And I'm also an educator for music. So I really love my job teaching in an elementary school. I teach kindergarten up through fifth grade. I teach general music, chorus, and strings. So I'm primarily a viola player, and I just love the kids and how excited they are to come to music. So it's really great that I have these two outlets where I can teach. And then, of course, the other side of Altenew is another creative thing I get to do, which is illustrating and designing products for Altenew. So I'm living the dream over here. It's a busy dream, but
So how many kids do you work with in one day?
so I have 6 classes in a day, and most classes have about 16 to 18 kids in it. Throughout the course of a week, I see about 450 students.
This makes you a hero. This
Oh,
makes you a hero.
Just how I think of
my my we're trying to bump up your sound a little bit, but I think it's
okay.
at the max. So
I come closer. Is this better?
yeah, or you can put me down a little bit, and then people can turn the volume up on their computer, maybe. So we'll work on that. But I am impressed that you can do that. Audrey, who's our second oldest, is a kindergarten teacher, and yeah, she loves it too. She's like you. I mean, it's her calling. But my goodness, I have a lot of respect for you all. So, and how long has Altenew been around?
So we started in 2014 in April, which means we are approaching our
Oh,
10th anniversary. It's a
nice.
milestone for us. It feels huge. I
Yeah,
and it is huge, right? Like we
yeah.
have every right to be excited about it. We've all put so much work into this company and helping to grow a community of everyone out there and really kind of find our place in the crafting world. So all that hard work is paying off, which is nice. And we're just thrilled to be sharing our
Yeah.
10th anniversary. And we have customers and designers that have been with us from the very beginning. You
Yep.
designed for us in the very beginning before
I
we put together a
did.
design team.
Yep.
So it's nice that the support of the company has lasted throughout all this time. So we're really fortunate and we feel really blessed to have had this experience. And we hope that the journey continues way past 10 years.
Yes. Yes. So I've told this before, but I think it's worth saying again. I will never forget when I got an email from you and Tesneem, who started Altenew together, and you said I knew both of you through card making, and I love both of your work. And I remember getting the email saying that you guys were going to start a stamp line together, and would I be interested in making some cards with it? And rarely do I say yes without seeing product.
Mhm.
I knew I'd love it, and that it was hook, line, and sinker. I was a big fan ever since. I appreciate how well thought out your products are and how diverse your team is. Very inclusive, just so many different styles and things, and of course the florals. So I appreciate all that you've brought to this industry too. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And yeah, it's been great having you as a supporter. And I don't know, it's just been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
You can't get rid of me. You can't get rid of me.
And I'm going to sneak something in here that I told Jennifer I was going to sneak in. But April is also exciting for me because I am due to have my first baby. So I am, 29 and a half weeks pregnant right now. And I'm so excited.
I won't make her share it, but she showed me her little bump the other day, and it's like the cutest little bump. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, we're thrilled. And it's a boy, so I'm excited.
There's nothing like the hold a boy has on a mama's heart. I told you, it's the best. It's the best. I'm so excited for you.
Because I'm a snuggler, so.
Yeah. Yes, boys, I feel like boys tend to snuggle longer than girls do. I don't know. But I'm so excited for you. So I have to ask you later if you have names yet. I won't ask you now. So
all I can tell you is that my husband and I have not agreed on names yet. We both have names we like, but we haven't quite figured out one that's like the perfect name. So I think we're going to wait till he's born and just see like what he like, what
Mike.
He embodies.
My brother voted for Mike. So it's funny with Colin, I had that name and Ken was not sure. And then when he was born, I don't know if it's because I had just gone through labor, but he's like, yeah, let's go with Colin, or if it's because he looked like Colin. Well, then Lila was Ken's name, what he picked out. And then I wasn't sure. And then she was born. I was like, oh, okay. So it all works out.
One thing that's funny about being a teacher of over 400 students is that every name has a connection for me. Most positive, but some of them I'm like, I don't know if I could go with that name. I've got too many things in my head of that one student.
Yes. Yeah, I can imagine. Because you think about it, I mean, even I'm not a teacher, but you think about maybe somebody who wasn't nice to you when you were a kid or something. So anyways, I get that. Well, I'm very happy for you. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much.
So excited. So what we're going to do today, we didn't really plan this. We just figured we'd go with it. I have a few cards planned. It's a technique that I wanted to show in 3 different ways with using different products. And it's a new collection from Altenew. It's actually, they're having a release tomorrow morning. But one of the collections they have available early, and it's available now. And so I'm going to show you some cards using that new collection because it's one of those. I mentioned that I like that Altenew has these products that all work well together. This is like a really good example of one of those collections where you can either get the whole bundle or you can kind of pick and choose what appeals to you. And so I'm going to show you a variety of the things in this collection so you can see some different ways to use it. And I'm going to show you how to do a fun shaped edge card design. And while I'm making it, Jen and I are going to chat. So we'll try to answer questions. If you have questions for Jen about Altenew, we'd love for you to ask them. Just put question mark capitalized in the chat so that Jen can see them. And I'll talk a little bit too.
We have a couple of girls from our team also on. So if there's something I don't see, hopefully they can get it answered. Yeah. And I'll also go through the comments after the live and I'll just pop in answers to anything else.
Wonderful. And Mike is here. He'll try to, not so crafty Mike will try to answer things. And my guess is Brianne, who's one of my good friends. She's the master of finding everything crafty on the internet. She's probably here too. So if you have questions, just ask there. And we're going to try our best to talk and create and answer questions all at the same time. Do you want to say hi to my friend Jen? She can't hear. Lila's here. Do you like her hair?
God. Yeah. Lila, you look so much older than the last time I saw you.
Look at this. Look how long this hair is.
What? It must take you like 20 minutes to brush it.
She can't hear you, but no, I told her she can keep it long if she takes care of it, and she does. So Dad's off skiing, so she's kind of hanging out while we're live. So. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start because we got a lot to share. I'm going to show the Sweet Jasmine collection here, and then maybe you can talk a little bit about it. Oh, wait,
Sure.
Jen has it there. Hold on.
Oh yeah, I do.
There it is.
So I've got to get it all in frame here, but yeah, so
There
we
you
have a
go.
collection of products, as Jennifer said, that you can mix and match. And if you want to get everything, there will be a bundle, a discounted bundle where you can get the whole lot, or you can just buy pieces individually. So it's really exciting.
And this is a new collection from them that I thought was really universal. But keep in mind, Altenew has a lot of these kind of products that maybe you already have something in your stash and you can try out these techniques. Oh, should I mention the offer you guys have? Is that okay?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Mike, can you put on the screen? Mike's going to put on the screen here. Let's see. There we go. So Altenew has an exclusive offer for everybody watching this, and it's a free stamp set. But what you need to do is, hold on, it's with any amount of order. It can be any order, whatever you want. You just need to add that to your cart, that stamp set, and use that code at checkout. And all of that is in the description below. And Mike can probably share some here in a bit, but it's all in the description below. If you don't see it in the description below, refresh and it will come back up. So if you're doing any kind of shopping, if you saw my live with Altenew products a couple weeks ago, I used their acrylic markers. You could use that, and that stamp set is free. So check all that out in the description below, right?
Yep.
Sound good?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Now let me show you, I'm going to show, ooh, I'm not good at this. Okay, I just thought I'd show you a look at the collection, and I'm going to use different things for different cards. So this is the Sweet Jasmine. It has a 4x6 stamp set. And remember, all of these things are sold separately, or you can buy the whole bundle. So there's the stamp set, and then there are layering stencils that color in that outline. So there's a little guide that comes with it, so you know how to color with the stencil. I'm going to do that today. You could also color by hand. I'm not good at that. So I leave that to Jen. So I'll be using the stencil. So there's a stamp set, the layering stencils. Then there is an embossing folder, and the cool thing is the embossing folder lines up with the stamp set and lines up with the stencils. So you can use these all interchangeably. And yes, the stencils can actually be used on their own. So these can all be used individually or mix and match. And also sized to the same there's a Better Press set. So the Better Press is a faux letterpress system from Spellbinders. And Altenew's been making press plates that work with it. I will demonstrate that later in this video if we don't run out of time. But the nice thing about these is, the sentiments match the sentiments in the stamp set. The nice thing about these press plates is you can use them with your Better Press system, or you can actually use these with your glimmer machine to foil. So you can use these in both ways. And I have linked in the description below 2 videos that talk about Better Press and how to use press plates like this. It's super simple, and how you can use them for foiling. And all of the size is works together, and there is a die set that cuts out that big image and the large sentiments. So the dies cut out the Better Press, the stamp, the stencil, or the embossing folder. So this is one of those really well thought out collections that can be mix and matched. Does that make sense? Did I explain it right, Jen?
You absolutely did. And if you're looking for other products like this, our Craft Your Life project kit has all of the same elements, but just without the press plate. So
There you go.
if you're looking for more mix and match products, you don't have to be a subscriber of the Craft Your Life project kit. You can just hop on and buy that. That wasn't always the case. It was
Right.
exclusive to subscribers for a year. And, after hearing feedback from customers, they said, you know what? I want to still buy this, and I'm not a subscriber. Can I just purchase this on its own? So we did open that up again to non-subscribers.
Good.
So you can just buy the project kit if you're looking for more. And as the Better Press has continued to be a trend in paper crafting and that letterpress look, we will be releasing more sets like this that have all the coordinating products plus
sorry.
the Better Press plates. So.
Great. And that's nice because some people don't have better press, would rather have stamping. It's just nice to have all the different options. Somebody asked the better press system. It is a faux letterpress system. It's a tool that you use with a die cut machine. I'll try to demonstrate it at the end of this video, but I do have links below. It's super easy to use and it gives a faux letterpress look. But for me, what I like most about it is you get really detailed impression and transfer of ink, and it also gives really detailed foiling. Have you ever done foiling with the better press plates?
I have, and I agree
works
with you because the better press plates in general have the ability to have finer details than a typical
Yeah.
press plate. So it is a great way to stretch your supplies. So if you're thinking of an investment, and anything that's made out of metal is going to cost more money. So you might be like, oh, look at the price tag. Am I going to get a lot of use out of this? But if you do have a better press system, but you also have foiling, you're going to get double duty out of that.
Yep. And you can actually use press plates with like the flexible embossing mat to get kind of an impression, but it's a very different look. So there's just many ways you can use them, and I'll try to show one today if I don't run out of time. There is one other set. So first of all, the collection I just showed you is available now. It's linked below. But tomorrow you're having a big release. Yes. And in it is something else that caught my eye. So this is not available right now, but it will be tomorrow. Yes, the Sunny Sentiments. You can tell I love those sentiments. I love that style. And there are coordinating dies available, and there's a layering stencil set that can be used together. So you can do a layering stencil background like that, and then in the stamp set are little like dot and stripe images you can build on top of it. So you can create a really fun geometric background pretty quickly. You can use the stencils or just use this stamp set. And I like that geometric look, but those sentiments, that's what got me. So here I just like the take good care. That's one of my favorite sayings. You are my sunshine, keep shining. I think you're amazing. I'll use that one today. I just really like this, and that there are dies to cut those out and the shapes. So I will be using this sentiment on the first card. And here's a look at the layering stencils. So you can see there's 3, and then they layer to create a whole background, and these can be stamped on it. So it's a smaller collection, but so easy.
Yeah, sometimes our builder stencils can be a little more complex. And we try to release ones that are more complex for people who are more skilled or more comfortable with, either layering stencils or builder stencils. Yep. And then we still continue to release these really amazing designs that are geared towards anybody, even a beginner, and you're going to get success every time because it's so easy to line them up. As you saw, Jennifer just stacked the stencils on top of one another, and you can see the design through the stencil and how easy that is.
So I just really like the style of these sentiments and these. I feel like they're versatile. They can go with a more classic card, a more cutesy card. These can be used for lots of styles. So that's why I was drawn to these out of the release that's coming out tomorrow. These they released early, but all of this is part of the release that comes out tomorrow, but this is available now. So I have gotten started with the first card. We're gonna do a partial cut edge, and I'll show you how easy it is, and then I'll show you also how to do the stenciling. I chose from the Sunny Sentiments this stamp that says, I think you're amazing. And then I stamped this floral right here so that like this bottom flat leaf right here is close to the bottom of the card, and this top little bud is close to the top. And I did it kind of to the right because we're going to do a decorative edge here. So I did this stamping ahead of time just so I could be sure that it was dry and to save some time. So I stamped it with my favorite black pigment ink, Altenew Obsidian Black, and just gave that time to dry. I could have stamped it here and heat set it, but again, wanted to save a bit of time. So I'm going to get started using the stencils to color this in, and then once I get going, I'll explain what I'm doing. Once I get going, I will, let me think. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll do the stenciling first. Once I get going, I will let Jen maybe share a little bit more about Altenew. I know somebody did ask what the name Altenew means, so we'll share that. But first, let me get started so we don't run out of time. what I did off screen, this is one thing I like to do whenever I get a layering stencil set, especially when there's different areas. Let me see here. Look at the description. I look at the description here, but what's nice about Altenews is they try to put as many of the layers on one stencil as possible to keep the cost down. So when I get it, all of these things are etched on there. See how it says A1 there? And there's dividers and it says stencil 1 up here. I want to be able to see that quickly. So what I do is I write with a Sharpie whatever the etching is. These are the dividers of etching. These are the codes they have. I write it with a Sharpie and then I put a piece of Scotch tape over it. That way I can ink it, clean it with rubbing alcohol, and that will stay there. So next time I go to use this, it's already numbered. And again, I'm just using the code that they have engraved and I'm just writing it. And they also have these lines engraved. I'm sorry?
I said that's a great tip.
It makes a big difference. But now look at, see how this picture, my stencil here looks like that picture. So I can follow this guide that comes with the stencil set to get my coloring just right. And I know what I'm working on. So I've got this here off screen so that I can follow it. And I'm going to start with the first stencil here. And so I'm lining up, this is A1, this area here, stencil number 1, this is A1. And I'm lining up these little petals with the outline of the petals, and it lines up perfectly with that outline. And I'm sticking it into my stamp wheel. I have a sticky mat in here. You can also get this sticky mat separate, but mine's in my stamp wheel, so I'm just going to leave it there. And that will hold my cardstock and my stencil in place. And for this, I'm using some fresh dye inks. I am really in love with this color combo here. These are two very bright colors, especially the tickled pink. But I love using them on the same flower petal because it kind of blends together. It's really neat. So let me get my brushes out here. And I'm just going to apply over this first one. I'm going to apply like a medium application of this tickled pink. Have you used this color before, Jen?
Oh my gosh, yes. I love it.
It is.
I love a lot of colors, but obviously pink is one of my colors. That I
hey, it is. It is. Well, I did the pink, like medium application of the pink more towards the base, and I left the tips white. And now I'll come in with a medium application of this orangish yellow. And where I overlap, I get that peach. And here's the thing. There may be flowers that exist like this out in the world. Probably not. But the fun thing about crafting is we can create whatever we want. So now this is one thing, I'm going to show this and then I'm going to keep inking and Jen can tell us some stories here. But one of the things I like about these Altenew stencils is there is an etching here. So if I line this etching up with what I've already done, it makes it super easy to line up. Also, you don't have to twist and turn with this particular one. You just kind of shift it and it'll quickly line up. And it's hard to see, but there are etching lines here, which also help me to line things up.
And the etchings help as well if you are doing this without the stamp set or without the embossing folder or the press plate.
Yes.
If you just want to use the stencils, you're going to need those etchings so you can line up your next layer.
Yep, for sure. All right, now while I apply, I'm going to go heavy with this ink. Same colors. I'm using the same colors in all the flower. Why don't you tell us about the name?
Sure. Before we get to that, I'm getting a ping that someone asked if we would consider an additional stamp set to accompany the Wycinanki. And if you're Polish, I'm so sorry that I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. My husband's Polish, but he doesn't speak it, so I don't think he would know you if I asked. But it's an older stamp set, and it was inspired by Polish folk art. And there weren't any current plans to release a sequel to that, but if you want to leave some comments, look it up while we're live here and see if it's something you would like. We can definitely create another stamp set like that. And on our team, Aga, again, I might pronounce her name wrong, Agnieszka Malachek. Aga's been on our team for a long time. You may know her. She's amazing. And she helped us out.
She's so talented. So
she
talented.
Helped with the Polish sentiments because she is Polish.
Oh, perfect.
So, yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, please let us know if that's something you would like to see. And yes, the name Altenew is actually something that we spent a lot of time figuring out because, you name a company once and you don't want
Yep.
to just do it quickly and be like, oh, we're just going to call ourselves Stampy Stamp. Okay. And then, like, a year down the line, you're like, wait, Stampy Stamp, that's a terrible name. Why did we do that? So we put a lot of thought into it, and we definitely wanted the name to represent what our company and what our vision was about. So we both felt strongly about taking old ideas from the past and making them more modern in a contemporary way or with kind of a trendy twist. So we wanted the name to have something to do with that. We also knew that we wanted to have diversity represented. Jennifer mentioned earlier, our team is very diverse. Our products have inspiration from all over the world. So that was really important as well. So we were coming up with different names based on that. And then we realized, let's just make up a word. Because if we make up a word, we know it's not already another company's name. We know that when someone does a Google search for that name, they're going to get our company. They're not going to get something random. So making up a word seemed like a good route to go. So alt means old in German, and new, you guys know, new means new in English. So Altenew is bringing old traditions into a new light, creating, you know, timeless classical designs, but with a modern and fresh look and take. So the German and English, that kind of ties in also the multicultural facets, and it's a made up name and it starts with an A. So if there's like a list of companies, it'll be at the top. So that's kind of
Nice.
nice. It worked out that way.
Smart, smart.
Yep.
Probably not
So
the
that,
plan, but it works out well, huh?
mhm. By the way, this looks beautiful. Those flowers look like a sunset. I love the colors you picked, Jennifer.
It's I
Nice.
those two colors. Oh, and these two. I'm doing this for the leaves. I'm doing Let Us Celebrate, which is like the perfect green, and Pool. And I'm doing the green that I just like that pop of pool color of blue at the tip of the leaves. But you could also do yellow there if you wanted to. And I'm doing, for all of the petals, I did the same pink and orange. And on all of the leaves, I'm doing the same green and blue. It's just over some of the stencils, I'm going, like here I did very light-handed, so they appear lighter. Sometimes it's fun to go and use all of the inks to, like a light, medium, and dark. But sometimes you don't want to take the time to do that. So the best thing would be to just pick, one or two colors and do a light application of color over some stencils, heavy over others. Like here, I'm going to do a heavy application of the same color here. I need to re-ink my Let Us Celebrate, so it's going to take me a little bit of work here. What is your favorite color, Jen, of all the Altenew ink colors?
I think it's Lagoon.
Lagoon.
And
Yes.
Lagoon is also, I believe, Lydia's favorite. She and I have a
Oh,
similar color aesthetic. So Lydia
yeah.
Evans, who is on our team as well, you guys have probably seen her in videos and in lives. Yeah, she and I both like that. I also like Olive is one
Oh,
of my other
yes.
favorites. So, Olive is a pretty typical olive green, and Lagoon is like Pool, but a little bit more green in it.
Yep. Yep. So I'm using Fresh Dye Inks, which is your newer collection. See how we have the light and the dark, but those are the same ink pads, just a
Yeah, you
lighter
would never know
application.
you use the same
Yep.
colors.
And you can be a little more, I'm very sloppy today, but I'll fix that in a moment. You can be even lighter handed and even heavier handed if you wanted to. Or you can even go in with, if you don't have a lot of colors of ink, you can go in with like a gray and go over it, a light gray, and that will kind of give it the look of darker. All right, so now I'm using Fresh Dye Inks here today. I am in love with the Fresh Dye Inks. That's your newer ink line. Do you want to, I always get a lot of questions about the difference between these round ink pads and your older crisp dye inks, which are oval. Do you mind giving a little info
Sure
about
thing.
that?
So they are actually pretty similar formulas. They are both dye inks. So dye inks, as the name would suggest, it dyes the cardstock or the paper that you are applying it to. So that's why they're really great for porous surfaces like cardstock, but you wouldn't be able to use them on something slick. Like they don't work very well on vellum, which is a slicker paper, unless you do something like heat set it. And even then, I wouldn't recommend it. It doesn't look as crisp when you're stamping it on something other than a porous paper or cardstock. So dye inks dye the paper, whereas a pigment ink more so sits on top and takes its time to dry, but it does not like sink into the fibers of the paper, if that makes sense to you guys. And Jennifer, if you can help explain that better than I'm managing.
No, that's it. That's it.
So because
that's how I'd say
it. Yeah, so the fresh inks and the older crisp inks are both dye inks. So they're in the same world of inks, which means the formula is similar. However, the newer inks, the fresh dye inks, have a higher viscosity to them. They do stay wet like slightly longer. I feel like the crisp dye inks, they dry like instantly, like the second it touches paper, it's dry. These will be easier to blend, in my opinion. Not like the crisp dye inks are difficult to blend. They're not, but you know, these inks are just a little bit thicker. So the higher viscosity has to do with the like the ink texture itself. So it's a little bit thicker. So they're both great inks. However, we are transitioning our old colors of crisp dye ink into the new formula and with the new case. So if you notice that your favorite Altenew colors of the crisp inks are now coming into the fresh inks, that means that we are like getting ready to retire those. So just so that you guys are all aware and you're not like, wait, where did my favorite ink color go? We are transitioning them. So it's not going to disappear forever, but
somebody asked about re-inkers.
So do they say specifically what about the re-inkers? Are they talking about the fresh dye re-inkers?
For crisp. Will you keep the crisp re-inkers? Until
they sell out.
Gotcha.
So we've been doing some testing actually. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. We've been doing testing behind the scenes of how the different re-inkers work on different pads. So like a crisp re-inker on a fresh pad, a fresh re-inker on a crisp pad, things like that. You know, I'm not going to wholeheartedly recommend it because you are mixing ink formulas, and also with the different formulas, you might have a slightly different color. So one color in fresh might be a little bit deeper in the crisp ink or vice versa. So it's not something that we're saying, hey, go out and do this. Just mix and match all your inks and re-inkers. But nothing bad would happen if you did. So.
Sure. I saw somebody ask if the stencils that I just used line up with the Better Press to color in the Better Press plate image, and it does. It lines up with the press plate, which I'm hoping I have time to show you later. And the other thing, maybe you said this, I just saw a question. Yeah, they're round ink pads, so they're really easy to hold, and I like that has a screw top because if you're like me, you drop your ink pads about 4,000 times a day, and they always land cap off upside down. But these stay on. They just click right on. So
they always say like butter or bread lands butter side down, right? Or like
same with ink pads.
The ink pads, they always land the way you don't want them.
All right, I'm going to do...
The pad is heavier, right? The pad with the ink on it is heavier than the plastic casing.
I don't know. And maybe somebody asked, these are felt. So these are firm felt pads. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to do a little partial die cutting and then we can chat some more. So I have the die that is to coordinate with this image. What I'm going to do here is tape it lined up. Let me grab... Where did my tape go? I can't find my little spray bottle of rubbing alcohol and it's throwing me for it.
Can I give you my tape?
I wish. I wish. I need somebody here to hand me stuff, but okay. So no, you don't need to hand me anything, Mike. You don't even know what half this stuff is. He has no idea. Okay, so I'm lining this up here, and this is on the edge of a note card. So this is, I think it's fun to do cards that open this way sometimes. So this is on the front of a note card, and I am actually going to cut through both layers. but I only want to cut this edge here from this top petal down here so that we have a shaped edge. So we're going to do some partial die cutting. You can do partial die cutting with whatever machine you have. What you want to do is make sure let me get it better in the, you take the top cutting plate and only have it covering the part you want to cut. So remember, I wanted to go from this bud and cut all the way around to this leaf. So anything under the cutting plate will cut, anything outside won't cut. I have beveled edge plates, it'll still work fine. It'll work fine. And you can do this with whatever machine you have. I usually do it this way, where this plate is set back. Another is do it right off the edge like this. So either works. I just feel that it's easier to see here.
I usually do the same. I'll offset the plates like that.
Yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, it goes better. Sometimes with the electric machine, the other way might be better. It just depends. You just got to play around with it. And it'll make a popping noise, but I have yet to hurt a die cut machine or die doing this because they're made of metal. Oh, did I just knock my camera? Okay, so now it's going to have cut through. Now I use a heavyweight white cardstock. So notice it cut the front edge, but it hasn't cut this edge. So one thing you could do is have had this open and just have the front edge cut and leave this solid, but I want the back edge cut. So what I'm going to do is open it back up. Get this little piece off here. Line it back up with this because it created a little indentation. So I'm going to line that up with indentation. And you know how hard it is to do things when people are watching you, Jen? It's kind of like, I don't know how you do that as a teacher. Everybody watching you. Okay. So now I'm going to do the same thing. This part I want to cut. So I'm going to run that through. I feel like partial die cutting is an excellent way to really extend the life of your dies and to do fun shaped things. You can do fun borders, so many things you can do. All right, so now we have this shaped edge. And somehow I got ink there, but I'll do what I did before. I'm really messy today. I think it's the pink in you. This is called a paper sander. And if you get just a little bit of ink, you can sand that away and nobody will ever know. I did that on the front of the card and I did it and see how it's gone. So
does it leave any texture, Jennifer?
No, it's so soft. But you know, if you can't like sand away a stamped image. Yeah, you can't sand away a stamped image. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be like a fingerprint or, you know, just a touch of ink, not a ton of ink. So now we have this shaped card. Isn't that fun? So a lot of Altenew's images, one of the things I like about their images is they're big. So it works really well for this. And I thought the size of this was great. Here's one I made to kind of plan what I'm doing because I'm still nervous every time I go live. And I wanted to show you what I added on here. These are new and coming out tomorrow. These are the GEm Sparkles. They're coming out tomorrow, right, Jen?
Yes, they are.
Okay, good. These are self-adhesive, and what's really neat about these is they have a lot of extra sparkles. See all that sparkle? Because they're a bit taller. They're like little studs. They're really cool. So there's the gold and silver, the iridescent, and then the clear. And I used a few of the gold on there. So they have the adhesive on them already, but a ton of shine and sparkle.
And we have a lot more of these coming out. So if you are a fan, every month we're going to be releasing more colors. So you could build your collection over time. And we're really excited about them. As Jennifer said, they are very multifaceted and they're taller. So they will give a lot of attention.
That's it. It's got more facets to it.
Yep.
That's why it sparkles so well. These, and I found they hold good too. Like sometimes the adhesive isn't, and I like that you guys have the large, medium, and small because I always like to put a mix of the sizes on my card. So that's my first card. That shows using the stamps with the stencils. So if you wanted to do better press and do better press with black ink and then use the stencils, you could do the same thing. Or you can skip the stamping and do just the stenciling. But I'm going to show you next in the embossing folder. So Jen, as I get my stuff out here, what is your favorite like, what is your favorite thing to do? Like stenciling or
Die cutting.
what's your
layered
thing? Die
cutting. And
cutting.
you know, for a while, my favorite thing was changing very frequently, but I've been on a die cutting kick for like well over a year now. That
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it's just how we've been doing the keyhole system with our layered dies. So our craft a
Yep.
flower and other layered dies, they have a keyhole in the die itself that helps you line up each element of the die,
Yes.
and it makes it foolproof. And, you know, sometimes crafting is fun when it's really detailed and in depth, and sometimes crafting is fun when it's really easy and you get that
Yep.
instant gratification. And I think right now, especially since being pregnant, I don't have as much time to craft. I'm trying to get baby stuff settled and registry and all that other things. It's so nice just to say, oh, I'm going to sit down, crank some die cuts out, and I can assemble these beautiful flowers. You can use colored colored cardstock, or I love
Yep.
just blending on white cardstock. It looks really, really beautiful. So die cutting's been
I'm
my
with
thing
you.
for a while.
Die cutting, man. I love that I can do a bunch of the die cutting and then assemble it without much thought. I can do something else at the same time, you know? So I'm with you, team die cut. I love it. But I also love layering stencils. Those also get me too. Mike, did you add this? Mike added this. If you look in the description below, I don't think it's listed in the description, but if you'll see at the top, it says for a visual supply list. If you click that, it should be there. Did it show up there?
Yeah.
Okay, so it should be if you click visual supply list. Also, if you go to that visual supply list page, it also has information there on how you get that free gift from Altenew. So be sure to do that because it's with any order. Okay, let's do the next one. With this one, we're going to skip the stamping and we're only going to do the embossing folder and the stencils. And I see so many great people here from Altenew. I love it. I love it. Okay.
I know, I'm seeing Miriam in the comments.
Yes.
Some others.
Oh,
By the way,
she
if you
is
guys
so
see
good.
me looking off screen, I'm not like being rude and like watching TV or something. I'm looking at the comments. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything, but I could see my bubble in the screen here, and like I keep looking off to the side. I don't want you guys to think I'm daydreaming or something. I'm trying
I think it's practice for when you have to watch a baby on a monitor.
right.
That's what I think. So somebody asked about my nails. I always get these questions. So it's in the description below. There's information. They're from Impress. Okay, so I'm doing partial die cutting again. This time I'm starting with the die, the coordinating die. So I've done nothing else. This is just a piece of white cardstock, 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And I want to cut from this tip to this tip. See how those tips line up with the edge? And you'll see this is going to be kind of the same idea, but a variation. And again, this time I'm not doing the partial die cutting with the card, just the front panel, because it was the only way I could make it work with what I wanted to do. All right. So now I have the top edge here. Oh, I realized I have pink ink on my cutting plate. That's my problem.
Oh, that'll do
So,
it.
just sand it away. This thing's my best friend, and it comes with like 5 of them, so and they're very inexpensive. Okay, somebody said they're the same as that you get at like a makeup store, but I've never been to a makeup store. So
I don't know.
Okay, so now that I've done that edge, you could have stamped first and done that edge. You could have done the better press, whatever you want, but I thought I would use the embossing folder. So I'm going to put this in here and line up my cut edge. See how you can see the image there? So I'm lining up those leaves on the top so that the image, I don't know, can you tell that or not? Jen, can you see that?
I can see. Yep, it's
Okay.
coming through. It is very subtle, but you can see it.
So I'm just looking through and looking at the impression, like where the impression will be made, and trying to line it up. And it might drive you slightly crazy. But once you get it, you're set. And you know what? It doesn't have to be perfect either.
Never needs to be perfect.
All right, so I've got it lined up with that die cut edge. Now I should have set up my machine first, but Altenew 3D embossing folders, if you just follow your the instructions. Oh, I know it was so hard to turn. I had a shim in there. I didn't need it. If you, yeah, you know, Altenew 3D embossing folders are great because you can follow your manufacturer's instructions, like for your die cut machine, on using a 3D embossing folder, and it'll work for your Altenew. So I'm just using the sandwich that the Spellbinders Platinum has. If you have an Impress machine, I found what works for the Altenew embossing folders is I skip one of the cutting plates, and that works. Now for this, I feel like I need a little more pressure. Let me make sure it didn't shift. So I'm putting in, that's why I had this shim in here. I'm putting in a folded piece of cardstock just for a little more pressure. Let's see, I'm gonna go all the way through. Let me check it. There we go, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So you can do just the embossing folder, do techniques over it, whatever you want. But what I'm gonna do is, as fast as I can, because I have another card, is to do the stenciling on top of this. So I'm going to do the same stenciling I did before, but I'm just gonna line it up with the raised edges. Isn't that gorgeous? All right.
It's good on its own too. You don't need to do much.
I know. It'd be a beautiful wedding card, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. I think it'd be beautiful. Let's see here. Okay, so did you have some things you wanted to share today? I want to make sure you get time to share whatever you wanted to share.
I'm going to address some questions that have been coming in. Number one was,
Perfect.
am I making a card today? No, I'm watching Jennifer make a card. Guys, I'm a fangirl, just like you all are. I don't want to miss what she's doing. I'm intently watching and I'm learning tips along with all of you guys. So
I will have Jen here sometime to make a card too, but honestly, I kind of waited till the last minute to plan. I know, that's shocking. But I didn't want Jen to have to feel pressure to come up with something too. So if you all would like her to come back and make a card here, we can definitely talk her into it, right?
And this is my first live not making a card. So it's kind of refreshing. It's like, but I want to like copy your card. I wish I had got my supplies out.
One thing that I would love to have you come do sometime is like maybe one of these collections where I use the stencils to color in the image and you do watercolor. Because that's your jam.
Yeah. I love watercolor. Yes.
You are so good at that, and I am not. It stresses me out big time. Here we go. So see, do I need to turn this? Now see, I've got myself turned here. Oh, there we are. So the etching here, you can't see it in the camera. It lines up with what you've already inked. So that makes it much easier to find out where to go. It would be easier if I took my sticky mat out of the stamp press, but I'm feeling quite lazy. And this holds it there as we ink. Okay.
So
did you have some questions?
Yeah, another question was someone from New York, and they know that our company is based in Syracuse, and they want to know if we have a store in Syracuse. Unfortunately, we don't. Our warehouse is not set up as like a retail location, but we did have a great event over the summer, and it was a live workshop, and we offered tours of the warehouse. And you know, look into keeping some of your summer free. We don't have a date yet, but we are doing another in-person event this summer. So if you do want to check out the Altenew warehouse and where all your products get shipped from, and meet the people behind the scenes who are packing and shipping those orders with care, and you know, everybody who does the job that might not be as glamorous, but they're extremely important and valued at Altenew. We definitely loved having the chance to meet everybody who came by, and we thought that, you know, maybe just local people would come, maybe US, East Coast based, Northeast, but people came from far away, and some people came from other countries, which just blew my mind. So it was really a fantastic opportunity to get together in person. We do other workshops throughout the year, but they are virtual. So that was an in-person event. And again, we're going to do more in-person events. So I would say, I think it's either maybe looking at late August, early September. We're trying to figure that out. So
You know what, Jen? Here's the secret. I know the dates because Jasmine texted me and asked me if
Ah,
I
she
wanted to join.
did.
I don't. I think it's September.
Yeah, I think so
But
too.
because she
Right?
asked me if I wanted to come, and I said I do, as long as my son hasn't chosen what college he wants to go to yet, and I need to make sure that, like, if there's like a parents' weekend or something, I'm going. So,
Oh
um,
yeah.
he's
Does he know what he wants to
narrowing his.
do?
He wants to study engineering, so
Oh, he's
that
gonna be following in your
yes,
footsteps.
and my dad's and my brother's and Ken's, we're all engineers, but they all, well, Mike until a few years ago did it. My husband did it till he retired last year. My dad did it till he retired. My father-in-law was a chemical engineer, so it runs deep. He was kind of doomed from the get-go to to be an engineer. We're all math nerds,
Yes.
so that seems to be what happens when you're
Kind of
into
fits.
math. But he's
My
down to,
father-in-law is a structural engineer,
oh,
and
that's serious
he's out
business, man.
he's out in Delaware, and he was actually called in. I think it was like to do a favor for someone else to do a home inspection. And
Yeah.
by chance, it was one of my high school friends.
No way.
Yeah, I don't even
Small
know how we
world.
figured out that it was him. And then, I guess my friend maybe said like, "Oh, is someone with your last name came and looked at our house?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's my father-in-law."
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, engineering tends to run in the families. All right, did you have other questions?
Let me see if there's anything else I missed, but I have to say the girls behind the scenes are doing a great job addressing everything that you guys are doing.
Well, one of my favorite things about Altenew also is the team that you guys have. Oh my goodness. On top of everything, that May, I think May's here. Is May here? She is a rock star.
Here, yeah, she
A lot
is,
of great people.
and it's kind of funny how
Nicole.
our team developed because it happened all very slowly and organically. So for a
Yep.
while, it was just me and Tasneem,
Yep.
and I may have told this story before, but I'll repeat anyway because I'm sure there are some newbies here. But Tasneem and I didn't know what was going to happen with Altenew.
Yeah.
As I would say, most like people who start a small business have no idea if it's going to fall flat on its face, if it's going to succeed, if you're going to have times where you are struggling and then times when you're doing better. It was really just up in the air. But
Yep.
we both wanted these products. So we figured like the worst case scenario is we were able to design some products that we really loved and maybe people will love them too and buy them or maybe not. So we didn't really go in with a lot of high expectations. And as we grew, Tasneem and I couldn't fulfill all the jobs anymore.
Yep.
And well, that looks so great, Jennifer.
Isn't that fun with the texture to it? So it's a different look. Sorry, go
So
ahead.
Tasneem was like packing orders. So, she lives in a different place than I do. She lived in New York on Long Island at the time, and I live in Massachusetts just outside of Boston. So she was doing a lot of the order packing in her basement and getting family members on board to help her with that. And
Yep.
as we go more, I was like, wait, what are we going to do now? Now we need someone for social media. Tasneem and I were not very good with keeping up our social media channels. We made a YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, all of the above. And we would rarely post to it because we both had so many other jobs.
Oh yeah, that's a full-time job. That's why I haven't posted on Instagram much in months. It's just overwhelming.
So May had seen Tasneem, I think it was at one of the creativation shows back when it was CHA, and just kind of said, "Hey, do you need help?" Actually, we do. So that's how she joined the team, and
Oh,
Nicole
she's one
and
of my
Nara
favorite
joined
people.
it. Yeah. So our team grew, and it was so nice that we all had a similar work ethic. We all had similar vision for the company, and we are like family. So when we get together, it's like I'm getting with my sisters, and I don't have biological sisters. I have two brothers, so
Yep.
it's nice to
It,
have that family, second family.
I've been around you all when you're together, and that is very true. like family. I loved that we had a family style dinner kind of at Tasneem's house, and it was just wonderful. It was wonderful to be there.
Tasneem is so great at hosting. I don't know how they do it because
Yes.
she will have like 30 people over like it's no big deal. I'm like, how are you doing this? And I don't know. I'm not good at hosting.
I was just panicking seeing the people.
Yeah.
So I saw somebody ask about the two different brushes. So Altenew has detail blending brushes that come in these different smaller sizes. Then these are the mini. These are the ones that I use the most. I just find I like the length of the bristles. I use these for tiny things like I did at the center of the flowers there. And then they have, the other one that I like to use a lot is this large brush. Whenever I've got a big background, this is definitely the way to go.
And let me grab, if you don't have it, I have this small as well to show the other size.
Oh yes, the small ones. Yep.
Let me pop one of these out. So I actually love, oh, there it is. There's a small blending brush. And my favorite is also the minis. So Jennifer, I'm right there with you. I find that I use the minis the most.
Hey, Marilyn, I saw you said we missed a question. Let me know what it is. Put it in capital letters and I'll have Mike look out for it. Let me show you how I turn this into a top edge card. This is if you don't want to cut through both layers. You could have done the same thing we did before, where you do the partial die cutting through both layers of the note card. But if you don't want to, here's another thing you can do. I have a note card, 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, and I'm going to hold this panel on the front. And I'm going to put it in my trimmer so that I cut from that point right there to that point right there, where the partial die cutting ends. So I'm just going to put it in here, lining up where the die cut edge starts here and ends here. Then I'll slide that piece away and then cut my card at an angle. And now I can glue this on the front, and it's just a little bit different. So the back will be angled, whereas if you did partial die cutting through both, which is, here's another one I did, the back would be shaped. So it's just another way to do it. This one's a little bit easier, but that's another option. And I gotta tell you, Jen, look at what I ran out of.
You did not.
I did.
We'll send
It's
you
killing
more.
me. These are empty. I gotta buy some more. I'm gonna wait until they have a big set. Well, I can do it to get the free stamp set. So now I'm gonna glue this right on the front. And there we have a fun shaped card design. And then I had these sentiments that I created off screen. This one is from the same collection, the Sweet Jasmine. This is from the Sunny Sentiments. I think I'm going to use that one. And you could put this anywhere. You could put it here. You could put it down here. I am one of those people, and I get a lot of people asking why I do this. I like to put it right on top of my focal point because I feel like your eye is drawn to the flower, so I want my eye drawn to the sentiment too. Yeah. But I know it bothers some people that I put it right on top, but that's how my mind works. But you definitely, it would fit nicely.
The contrast between the colorful flowers and the sentiment, I think it helps make it stand out too.
And so this will still fit in an envelope because remember the overall size is less than 5.5, and it stands up nicely. The other one stood up nicely too. So on this one, I'll probably off screen add some little gemstones to it. And here's one I made practicing. So there you go. So that's my other idea. So this shows the stencils with the embossing folder. This is the stencils with the stamp. And if you don't, if you like to color, if you can color like Jen can color, by all means, color it by hand. For some people that's relaxing. For me, it makes my anxiety go up.
See, but for me, I like painting and I like colored pencils. But I would say my alcohol marker skills are not where I want them to be yet. I need to continue practicing with my artist markers.
Everything is practice, right? And practice is fun. As long as the practice is fun for you. Mm-hmm. I was trying to practice with watercolor and it just was stressful for me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let that go. And then you guys all started coming out with these layering stencils to color and I was pretty happy. So, okay. So let me talk a little bit about the Better Press and show you something really quick with that. One of the reasons I wanted to talk, I've got some tape on here, talk about the Better Press is because they have inks that are meant to be used with the Better Press, but I also found that Altenew's dye inks work really, really well with it. Really, really well with it. I saw somebody ask, how do I store these round ink pads? I have an Organize More ink shelf unit, and I put, because they're smaller than others, they slide back, so I just fold up some cardstock and put it in there so it doesn't go all the way back, and I store them in that. Can these be stored on their side, Jen? Do you know?
I wouldn't recommend it. Just I would
Okay.
keep them upright just so that the ink stays level and consistent.
Gotcha. All right, well, let me show you. I gotta get my stuff out, sorry. This one right here, this is one I just did as practice, but I inked up, it's crunched because it was just practice. I inked up the Better Press with 3 different colors of fresh dye ink. I did the pink, the orange, and the pool, and I just let them overlap a bit, and it gives you that rainbow look, and you can get great detail images. This was, again, just a practice, but I wanted to show you how well white pigment ink works with it too. Let me first demonstrate with pink ink, just so you can see how the Better Press works. They sell, this is the Better Press here, it's this tool. It's the platform and then the plate, and it works with a variety of die cut machines. I'm demonstrating today with the Spellbinders Platinum. So they have available a cardstock meant for Better Press. It's a nice cotton cardstock that takes a nice impression, but really you could use whatever cardstock you have. And you put the plate, this is the Altenew press plate that coordinates with everything we've been using. You put that onto this magnetic mat and it'll stay put. Let me demonstrate it with pink ink first. So this is the Tickled Pink, which is that bright pink from before. And I just kind of dab the ink on lightly until you can see it's covered. And this is a strong magnet, so it'll stay put. So yes, somebody asked earlier, you can use dye inks with this, and I found the viscosity of this ink that she was talking about earlier is perfect for this. So it's the ink I actually reach for the most. Now this paper is taped onto this, and you just snap it on, and these 4 magnets cause that paper to kind of float above the press plate. Hi, Susan. And then you just put it into your die cut machine. And when you crank it through, it puts just the right amount of pressure to press that top clear plate onto the Better Press plate, or to the press plate. And look at that beautiful detail impression.
It
Just
looks
one
amazing.
pass.
And you can't see the texture as well, but oh, there you go. Thank you. Now you can see the texture.
It's not like super deep. If you want super deep, you can use an embossing mat. But the detail is just outstanding. Outstanding. So that's, like, you can use any of your fresh dye inks for that for sure. But I was going to show you.
Spellbinders is so smart because that magnet makes it foolproof. I feel like the way the magnet holds the paper over. So you're not going to smudge it. You're not going to misalign anything.
Yep. Now I also, you can, like, if maybe you didn't ink it very well, you can just re-ink it and put it, and it'll line back up perfectly. It's very, very helpful that way. Now let me show you what else you can do with this. I have some navy cardstock here. I have no idea what navy cardstock it is because I got it out of my scraps drawer. I'm going to tape that there onto the plate. Now this time I'm going to ink up with white pigment ink. Now as you know, white pigment ink doesn't give you a solid white. If you want really solid white on dark color, you'd want to heat emboss, white heat emboss. But this is going to give a really cool look. Now you can stamp with white pigment ink, like the same image, but stamp it. But sometimes it gets a little splotchy or whatever, but with the Better Press, it's really cool. So I'll pop that on, run it through. And and the sentiments also come in this press plate set. And look at that detail. Isn't that beautiful? I just love that white. And if you want it to be more intense, you can repeat the process. Let me see, I'm gonna make sure I have it oriented right. Is that right? Yeah. I'll do it one more time and then I'll show you the card. because I bet Jen's tired after dealing with all the kids and then dealing with me.
Oh, you're easy. You're just one person. You're not 18 kids at once.
I don't know. My brother might disagree with me being easy. And yes, this plate works with the Glimmer hot foil machine and gives beautiful foiling results. I actually feel like I get even better detailed foiling results with my press plates than I do with my foil plates often. Look at that. Isn't that fun?
Somebody asked Jennifer if
yeah.
Better Press System works with the Spellbinders Grand Caliber, and I don't think it does. Do you happen to know offhand?
I don't know offhand, but if you go to the Spellbinders website, they have on the Better Press product page, it tells you which machines it's compatible with. I know it's compatible with Gina K's Intracut because I've done that. But those are the only ones that I know of.
The Grand Caliber is an older machine. That's actually the machine that I had before, and I ended up upgrading it because I couldn't do the Glimmer foil with it.
Gotcha.
So that's why I'm leaning towards no, but definitely look it up as Jennifer recommended, because better to take the word right from them because they know which ones it's compatible with.
Spellbinders is a great company, very good company. So I am guessing that you'll be able to get answers to them through their contact.
Do you have to heat set the white?
Oh, somebody asked if you need to heat set this white. I like this one I did yesterday, and you can see it's dry, but you can heat set it if you're concerned.
Yeah, I usually just let it air dry, even though it takes a little bit longer, because I get scared when I heat set that I'm going to warp my cardstock.
Yeah, yeah. And some cardstocks, this one won't, but some cardstocks kind of change a little bit, the color. So anyway, let's see here. Let me find my die. I'm going to do one more partial die cutting, and then we'll be done, if I can find my cutting plate. Why do things run away? I see it. All right, were there any other questions there?
I'm trying to see if there's anything left unanswered, but I think we've been catching most everything. But again, I will go back and I will look and see if anything needs addressing. And you can also, if it's an Altenew related question, you can email support@altenew.com, and we'll also have someone from our team get back to you on that.
Somebody asked if you can use the press plates with something besides the Better Press. Yes, you can use it with your Glimmer foiling. You can also make an impression with it using your the embossing mat that comes with machines. And in the videos I have linked below on the Better Press, it shows those options. Okay, so I have a note card here, top folding 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, and I have put this die along the bottom here so that it's touching over here, and also touching at the bottom. So this is just another way. Let's see how I want to do it. Let's do it. Let's go bold. What the heck? May not work. We'll see. I'm trying to live more dangerously. Gina's trying to encourage me to just kind of go with it, and I'm not good at going with things.
She's a good influence then. We should be going bold, taking risks.
There we go. It worked. So now I'm going to do this side, because remember it doesn't cut all the way through because it's two thicknesses. So I'm going to pop that die back in, if I can figure out how I had it. And pop that in. Let's see. So the release is tomorrow, but most of what I'm using is available today. Do you guys release some things early? Is that what you do?
Yeah, so there's access, early access to certain products each release. So this was selected. This bundle of products was selected.
Perfect. Okay, let's see if I did it right. Look at that. So now this you can prop. Now what I do, if it's not going to want to stand on its own, is I cut a little bit off the back. So here's the shaped card, and I'll just cut a little bit right here.
I was wondering how you were going to stand it up.
And that will stand up, but at first I need my bone folder. Let me glue this on real quick, and then I will get that. You could also do what we did before, where it is off the side. You can make this a sideways card, like this. Let me find my bone folder. Here it is. You can see my Altenew bone folder is well loved.
It is. It's just EN now.
Yep. And then it will stand up on its own. If I get it, I gotta cut it a little bit more. Let me think. I think this way. Nope, I did it wrong. Yeah, see, this is what happens when everybody's watching.
Pressure.
Yeah, it'll stand up. Once I crease that better, it'll stand up.
There you go.
Okay, so now I have also white heat embossed one of these sentiments from the stamp set. I just thought the bright white would be cool against the softer white. I don't know where I want to put it though. Where should I put it, Jen?
Left bottom, maybe a little bit lower. Yeah,
Right
I liked
here?
when you were over there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's unexpected, kind of like your other one was.
And then I would put some of those clear gemstones on there. And there's a fun little shaped card. And just use a white gel pen.
In a regular envelope.
So it's a little bit different look with each of these. Let me find them all. Where's my other one that had the gems on it? And they all use that Sweet Jasmine collection in different ways. There you go.
You're amazing.
Oh, no. I didn't design a single thing. You did. Did you design this set?
I did design this set, yeah.
Well done. See,
Thank
you do
you.
all the hard work and it makes us all look good. So thank
It's
you.
so funny that you mention that because it is a lot of hard work. Designing is fun, but there's a lot of work when you're like trying to figure out all the stencils and the dies, and there's certain specifications for the stamp set. There's a lot of rules to designing products because every manufacturer has their own specifications. So I'm thrilled that people like Jennifer can take that and turn it into something like these beautiful cards. It's really nice.
Well, I bet it would be hard after you've spent so much time designing a card to come up with or designing a set, like a product, to come up with a way to create a card with it because you've looked at it so much. So it must be fun to see what other people do.
The card samples on the inserts. So each
that's true.
designer, so like I designed
Oh.
this set of products. So I designed the card sample ideas that are in the trifold insert card.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's also funny because like this is so long ago. Like the last time I looked at this, other than when I got my package and have been brainstorming ideas of what to make with it, it was like 6 months ago. That's when I designed this. So
Man,
you know,
that's
we're
crazy.
looking at things I haven't looked at in a long time, and I'm designing now for like late summer. So
well, we appreciate it because, we need our addiction to be fed. And you designing these great products does just that. It helps us. I mean, I think it's therapy for many of us. All right, so there's some gemstones added to each. And I saw somebody asked if these are all 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This piece is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and you can see how it compares in size. So these will all fit in an envelope just fine. This would look neat glued onto a white panel. Look at that.
ooh, yeah.
That kind of looks cool. I might switch that. It'd stand up
That
better
looks
then
great.
too.
Yeah.
And then this one. But this will stand up. All right, so there we have it. Okay, I'm tired.
Oh, I don't blame you. Can't believe you made 3 cards. When I go live, I get 1 project done.
Well,
Because I'm talking so much. That's what I always do is I blame it on talking. But you've been talking a lot, and somehow you still managed to get 3 cards done.
I realize I have to prep ahead of time. I can't just wing it. I get too stressed out. So that's the way it goes. Let me just answer a few questions, and I want to hear, there's a few about Better Press. How do you clean the Better Press plates? I addressed that in the video that I have linked in my description. They have, they use archival ink cleaner. I just use baby wipes usually. I have like non-alcohol, whatever baby wipes, and that seems to work just fine, or dry cloth. It really doesn't matter. What is the advantage or draw to doing letterpress? To do the Better Press, it's just another fun tool. I just think it's fun. It's like, once upon a time we really were only doing stamping, then we got into die cutting, and it's just more tools that add. Now I know there's a lot out there and you got to pick and choose. So check out those videos and you can see the different things that you can do with it, and you can decide if it works for you. And I like that Spellbinders is working with companies like Altenew to come out with their designs that work with their press.
Or like Jennifer mentioned, there's ways to cheat the letterpress
Yes.
look. Like if you have one of those embossing mats. So experiment with that. And if you're like, I really love this look and I think I'm ready to invest in the letterpress system so that I can now use these other products that are designed with that system. It's a good way to kind of test it out and see if it's something that you even want to do, because, you know, we know everyone's working with a budget and you don't necessarily, you can't necessarily buy everything, even though we want to.
No. And I show in those videos how to make an impression if you don't have, with a plate, if you don't have the letterpress, the better press, how to foil. I show all the different options, and you can do that with the press plates that Altenew has. So, okay, so do you have anything else you want to share?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I feel like we covered a lot today, which was really great. I definitely
put two Jens together and we just get going.
Check out the release in Blog Hop tomorrow. So the release goes live at midnight Eastern time. So wherever you happen to be, you can do some time conversions on that. And the designers are so great. And Jennifer, are you on our hop tomorrow too?
Yep.
That's what I thought. So definitely check out the hop, because you'll see a lot of amazing projects. And this release has a lot of different things. Like, let me see if I can just kind of like sneak a peek of one of the other products, because I saw the samples that the design team made with this, and it was just like mind-blowingly amazing. So the Sunset Horizon stencil is
so much variety in this release.
Yeah, this is like a newer thing for us, I guess. I'm calling it retro future because this looks very like 80s to me. And if you look at the samples on the back of what you can do, fun. But I think it was Aram and JC and a couple of others, they just made this look so incredible, like total 3D. I don't know. You have to see it. You have to check it out. So
yeah, and I like there's some sentiment stencils that are really cool too. Mm-hmm. I'm excited about those. So what I used today is available now, but the whole release comes out tomorrow. So you can wait till then, and be sure to add that free stamp set into your cart and use the code, and it's free with any order. And there's also shipping deals. I have all of that in my description below, and they have a lot of things in their sales category. It's all there. Somebody might, can you scroll that down? I feel like I missed a question. Oh, I can't. So. Oh, somebody asked about my cardstock storage. I had that made for me because I was desperate for storage solution. So all of the information is below, and tomorrow at 9 a.m. there's a video hop. So be sure to hop through that, because they have big prizes and lots of inspiration using all the different things. So I think that's it.
And anything else? Our anniversary, because we have a lot of really fun interactive prizes and events planned for April. So please don't forget that.
Not only anniversary in April.
Yes, right? But also my son will be born in April, and I'm so excited. Unless I go early, but it's my first, so I don't think people typically go early on their first child.
My kids stayed in extra long. They kind of liked it in there, and they stuck around an extra week or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 40. So one of the things about being pregnant at 40 is they treat you a little bit differently.
They do.
And they said that they would induce me if he tries to stay in there past 40 weeks. So
I had to get induced. We had to evict Lila. She got induced. She was not. I was older when I had Lila too, and I remember my first appointment I went to, on the top of my, that was back when you had folders at the doctor's office, it said diagnosis AMA, and I'm like, I have something? Advanced maternal age. And it was funny because when I asked the nurse what it was, you could tell she knew I wasn't going to like the answer. And she was like, advanced maternal age? And I'm like, what? No.
Well, I heard that before calling it AMA, it was geriatric pregnancy.
I know. But really, there's no good way to say it.
Yeah, AMA is fine compared to that.
Yeah, gosh, ridiculous. Well,
Yeah.
you'll do just fine. You have those extra wise years in you, so you're set.
Yep. And I'm gonna be crafting things for the baby. I've already made some onesies for him and doing some homemade DIY decor. So
I can't wait to see it all. I love seeing what you make.
thank you.
Well, I think we'll wrap it up. I kept you long again. I always keep people long.
It's
It's
okay.
just too fun.
I'm here. This is great.
Well, I will tell you, I saw people want you to come back and they want you to create. So we're going to have to pick a time and
Yep.
we will pick maybe the same stamp set and you watercolor while I cheat with the stencils and we'll both be as happy as can be.
That sounds amazing.
'Cause
I'm looking forward
That's
to
our
it.
jam. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. All right. If again, everything's in the description below, including how to get that free stamp set from Altenew. Thank you for that generous offer. You guys rock. And if you have more questions, you can leave them in the comments below, or you can email either of us through our website, and we'll be happy.
Is this free gift available today, now?
The free gift is available now. It'll be available tomorrow too. I think it ends in a couple days. So you can either, if you see something, you know of things you want to order now, you can. But really, I encourage you to wait till tomorrow when it's all available. I will send out an email letting you know when it's all available and you can use the code then. Totally up to you. And yes, Richard, you're late. You missed it all. You just said, did I miss everything?
You're gonna have to catch the replay.
Catch the replay, Richard. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, Jen. I
Thank you for
appreciate
inviting
you.
me. This has been great fun, and I loved watching you. It was different for me not crafting live, but I got to really see firsthand everything you were working on. It was so much fun.
And if you want to see a video, Jen did a video for my YouTube channel a few months ago, and I will add that link in the description because it's a great video and it's fun to watch her work. So I encourage you to check that out too. So thank you so much
You're welcome.
and have a wonderful day. And thank you everyone for joining us. And I will be back with a regular video very soon.